First of all, I want to talk about water. Water getting in your boats. If water gets in your boat from the top down through that little window, your boat is going to be ruined. You need to take your time every single time with proper electrical tape or proper hockey tape or whatever you're deciding to use, and make sure that that's taped up every time. Make sure, and everyone in this fleet has made this mistake, make sure you put your little drain plug in or you will fill up with water eventually and end up like Malcolm and the boat like actually sinking. So we don't like that. Like I said, use good electrical tape, hockey tape, lube the bearings. Lube the bearings in the top of the gooseneck and underneath. Make sure those are used at SpeedX, and then the Corrosion X is for all your electrical components. Use it all the time. Try not to use it as much as Clay did, who drowned his boat in the Corrosion X. No corrosion. Lots of sticky mess in there, but no corrosion. The static rig tune. We're basically going to talk about two components right now, and that is the jib tack in as close proximity of the deck as you can. Now, I call this the jib tack. There's probably a more official name for it, but it's trying to get the knuckle of your jib boom as close to the deck as possible. It's not easy. It's a pain in the rear end. And the worst is when you, by mistake, ease it for some reason. It's really, really hard to get back on. Spend some time getting it as close as you can, because everything in your rig tune goes off of that. Okay? So the second thing we do is we set our head stay length. And oh, yep, good call. Mast butt position at the deck should be either one line from the back or all the way back. Of all you fast guys in the group, who's all the way back? And are you all the way back?
One line forward.
I'm one line forward. What are you?
All the way back.
What are you?
One line.
One line. So all the way back to one line back is kind of the right spot. So then it's about your head stay. And the way that I've been measuring it for some time now is, yeah, it's 1135, but it's a pain in the rear end to use a tape. So I actually took the snow sticks out of my yard. Yeah, it's a s'more stick. And we measure basically from the black bumper, the aft edge of the black bumper, up to the hole in the front of the mast. And that is 1135, which is what the tuning seems right. Now, here's the problem with the tuning that no one talks about. You could have it at 1135 with the backstay completely off, and it's going to be different than if your backstay is snug a little bit. So I snug the backstay just a little and then do the measurement. I have two measurements. I have two lines. 1135 or so for heavy air, or kind of the standard setup, and then for super light air, I go back to like 1137 or 1138. Now those numbers are straight out of the factory. If you go onto all the websites and some of the tuning guides, they all seem to like that number. And what I think it does, it really balances the boat out. So a lot of tuning guides you read will have a measurement from here down to here. I've never actually measured it. I think it's 1090 is the number that some people use. But because my center of the universe is this dimension, I don't really care about that dimension so much. And I use the backstay only for developing mass bend, to flatten out the sail in heavy air, or make it a little fuller in light air. So we have the general sail controls of the mainsail rough tune on the bowsy, the jib rough tune on the bowsy, and obviously you have the control of your transmitter on in and out of the sails. Okay? You have a jib Cunningham, a main Cunningham, simply to take the wrinkles out, right? No more, no less. When it's windy, pull it on until the wrinkles go away. When it's light, have a little wrinkles in there. Gives it a little bit more shape. You have the outhauls, which are these two rubber fixtures. Let's look at this boat for a sec. The rubber slider. we sail the boats with less outhaul than you think you ought to all the time to keep a little depth in the lower parts of the mainsails. True?
Not
Or,
last week.
not last week?
I've been sailing it like a normal boat.
Yeah.
So if it's windy, you pull the outhaul on.
Right. Remember, these sails don't have any broad seaming shape. They just have luff curve. There's no shape in the actual sails. The jib leech. This is probably one of the most confusing parts of the boat for many people. The tighter this is, the more twist a sail will have. The looser it is, the tighter the leech, or the straighter the leech will be. Over the winter, a lot of us started going with straighter and straighter and straighter jib leeches to the point that we all overdid it and got really slow again. So play with that, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the twist profile when we start waving the boats, the sails around. So just to go through a couple more things. Boom on centerline. This is always a big question. The guys who've been sailing the DF95 for years always say, when in doubt, ease it out. And I think they're right. So what I have on my boat is a way of identifying how far outboard my jib boom is. And I have a green, an orange, and a black mark there. The more outboard the jib boom is for the heavier air. And what that does, it allows the slot to be a little bit more open. If you go too much and your mainsail's too far in, what happens? If your jib's too eased and your main's too far in, you get way too much weather helm, the boat wind checks all the time, and it doesn't track like Kenny was talking about. So it's a very, very fine line to get it just right. So, rule of thumb, just like on a regular old boat, the lighter the wind, the more centerline the main boom is, and maybe the closed the slot can be. And then as it gets windier and windier and windier, the sails go out and out and out, just like a regular boat. The backstay itself is very simple. All we're trying to accomplish with the backstay is to bend the rig, okay? So the tighter the backstay, the flatter the sail and the more twist, to the point where you're going to get what we call inversion wrinkles. If you see the wrinkle going up into the middle of the sail from the clew, you see those wrinkles? Everybody see those? That's a lot of backstay. It's probably too much backstay. Or it could be too much vang, because both of those features bend the rig. So let's just ease the vang off for a second. Still flat, still really twisted. The wrinkles are going away, but now we have too much twist. So there's always a bit of a balance between vang tension and backstay tension. There's a backstay tension that doesn't have the huge wrinkles. And remember, those wrinkles that I was talking about, those overbend wrinkles for too much backstay, they can't be taken out with Cunningham, because you're absorbing all the shape in the front of the mainsail, and it's making it board flat, and you'll lose a lot of your drive. I think we found over the course of a year now that overbending can be slow, and you need a little bit of drive down low in the mainsails, especially in the Joy's Way sails. So most boats have it directly up over the top.
Right.
So I put this fair lead back farther so that when I ease the mainsail all the way out, it goes just to about 90 degrees, or just a little beyond 90 degrees. Okay? And I move, because I don't think it's fast to go super far past 90 degrees. And then I put this one really far forward. This one I haven't moved in a while. So that when it wings, so this one's can go forward. Okay, so when you're at 90 degrees on the main, right about there, the jib boom is past 90 degrees, so you can actually heat it up like a snipe. And the jib boom, or the wing and wing, can go forward. And it is wicked fast if you get it right. So you can still get the main all the way out, But the farther back you put this fair lead, the more 90 degrees it's going to be, so the tighter it's going to be. And then the more forward the jib boom one is, the more past 90 degrees the jib will go. And that's, I think it's really fast. Quite a lot of bend right there, right? Some of the DF95 experts might say that's too much bend because you got those overbend wrinkles that are forming at the middle slide coming down here. We call it the Harvard Lark syndrome for anyone who sailed in college on the Charles River. See that one wrinkle that keeps forming?
Yep.
You're not going to ever get that out with Cunningham, just because it's called overbend.
Yeah.
So let's just ease this off a little bit. It's a little better. Ease off the vangle a little bit. When you ease off your backstay, see how it's less paramount or less obvious.
Yep.
So the key to me is speed through the water, as opposed to too much height. So having that outside telltale just going a little bit here. I'm probably not quite tight enough for the big puffs, and maybe just a touch twisty. So having the jib out a little bit more than the main, I think is good. It kind of acts like a snipe jib. Believe it or not, the whaler's giving it bad air right now. Let me just heat up. Let me get out of the bad air. There it goes. Whoa! And you can just heat up just a hair and keep the jib forward, 30 seconds. Code Red is doing the stand at the windward end of the mark line until go. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. Keep it up. Oh, wrong way.
Thumb pressure.
Oh, that's all right.
I choked.
That's all right. Great start by the green one. And 15, who's that? Oh, that's Anderson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pin's really favored on that one. Offset, Henry. It's kind of upwind to the offset. Sorry, we got to shift.